The legal system is not culturally neutral, right? The legal system was built by specific individuals with specific cultural reference. I found out that cultural anthropologists can serve as expert witnesses in the US, testifying to somebody's culture, usually a defendant's culture. In the US right now, I would say it's mostly used with migrant and refugee populations as well. It's been employed a lot in cases that involve Indigenous people. And then that gets complicated because there's the aspect of being culturally different, but then some Native American groups have their own territories with some legal autonomy. And so then you have the issue of two competing legal systems, kind of one overriding the other, and how you manage that. The first step is that the judge has to qualify you as an expert, right? So usually there's a claim there, right? Something I did is okay according to my culture. And a lot of times, even if the behavior is considered illegal in the US, judges take that into account. Well, but to the best of your knowledge, you thought it was okay. And so it might serve as a mitigating factor. Our job is not to tell you whether somebody's innocent or guilty. It's just to say, this is what I know about this specific belief or behavior in this cultural reference group, and then hopefully provide information to the judge so that they can better make a decision, a ruling. And I started to become very interested in this topic when I myself was asked to serve as a witness in the case of a Mexican migrant. But I became very interested because this was the first time that I heard about this. And I started asking around, and I found out that there were other anthropologists who had served in this capacity. And then I thought, well, we never talk about this. And because I'm from Latin America and I, collaborate with anthropologists in Latin America, I became interested in whether this is something that happens there as well. And to my surprise, it turns out that not only does it also happen, but that they've written a lot about it, they've theorized about it. And I feel like of all the regions in the world where this is true, that the Latin Americans are really far more advanced in thinking about how to do this, the ethics of doing this. Then I realized, well, nobody knows this because they publish in Spanish. And so primarily because of a language barrier, but also because of a lack of valuing international work, that nobody knew about this. I really appreciate Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 was written by a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Marcos Guevara, at the University of Costa Rica. He unfortunately passed away a year ago from COVID. But I think his chapter is key because it's the best attempt I've seen in any language to really lay out how the law and anthropology think about culture in very different ways. I think it's really important for people to understand that when we talk about cultural diversity, we're talking about a lot of things, right? I think people tend to be okay with diversity when it's about, somebody likes to eat a different kind of food, or they like to dress in a particular way, these very sort of light things, right? But when we talk about diversity within a society, we're talking about differences in beliefs and behaviors that can be very serious, right? And so I think we can't really be serious about being inclusive if we don't find a way of incorporating these cultural differences all the way into the legal system. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a conversation that has to be had. And the other thing is that, especially those of us who live in New World societies, right, that were created out of processes of conquest and colonization and independence and all that stuff, is that the legal system is not culturally neutral. Right? The legal system was built by specific individuals with specific cultural reference, right? And so it doesn't represent the culture of everybody, and it certainly doesn't represent the culture of people who were here before. No, I actually just wanted to mention that I was very grateful that the press had an interest in this topic and was very supportive of everything that I wanted to do with the book. And so that was great.